now you can see that we have everything's still hooked up the same. Haven't changed anything on the fuel, throttle body, everything's all the same. So all we have done is we have removed the distributor cap off of the Holley dual sync distributor, put their cap on it. It's a nice cap, and hooked up smart coils. So these are smart coils out of his out of the truck. So everything is exactly the way it would be in the truck now, as far as the EFI system, except for obviously he has that he has a elbow with forward-facing throttle body instead of this sniper throttle body, obviously. So everything is exactly the same. I've made this will be a third pull. So I'm trying to even simulate how many pulls I have on it in a time frame. So simulating water temperature, oil temperature, all that kind of stuff. So I've been trying to be very consistent on this. Same target AFR, 13-1, flat, all the way across curve, and same timing. Now, keep in mind, now with this versus just the sniper and the distributor, we have individual cylinder control. If we wanted to, obviously we could go in and make this cylinder a little leaner, this cylinder a little richer, whatever, to make more horsepower per cylinder. Not all cylinders are equal. They are not. So there's all these things that you can do with the multi-port system, and especially if you're doing coil on plug, because then we can do individual timing per cylinder. We could lean it up and put a degree of timing in it, or a degree of timing out of it, etc., all based on reading your plugs, which is the only way to tune. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera down out here. We'll make a pull on it with the smart coils, and the smart coils, whatever, don't really feel like getting any debate about whether a dumb coil is better, etc. This is still only 700 some odd horsepower. It doesn't need to have like the Pro 600 box, or you know, or Spark 8 box, whatever. It doesn't need to have a big CDI with a dumb coil set up on it like we use on the methanol deals. Probably wouldn't see anything there at all. Now the other thing that I think that you'll notice too is that now the smart coil, or any one of these coil on plugs outside of the CDI style dumb coil, they do burn differently. So this very well can take a little bit different timing than what the MSD system and the standard coil does. So they are a different type of spark, a different heat spark, and a different way they spark. So the smart coils very well might take a slightly different tune, maybe have it, or a slightly different, slightly different tune, run at a different level. Typically, they'll actually run a little leaner to make the same horsepower or better. So, but this is directly comparison to comparison, just putting it on. So always remember that regardless of what we see here, is that we can manipulate. It has all these things that we can do that are different. I'm not tuning for the optimal with the sniper, not tuning for optimal with this, not tuning optimal for the coil on plug. What I'm doing is just giving you a direct comparison. Everything being equal and the same target AFR, same target timing, and what that actually does. So let's put the camera down, we'll take a pull, look at the numbers. Alright, now we come over and look. That's interesting. So we can see that we are 738, 735, 5900. Still has all that basic thing. You know, little bit of a little dip there, a little hump, but actually the curve looks real nice through there. So let's look at this thing with the other tests. Let's see where we're at here. History log, 28, so it's 23, 28, and 31 tests. Okay, as you can see, green, we remember from last time, red is let's see, red is 28. If you look up here in this upper hand corner, shows you what test session it is. So let's get rid of the torque. Obviously, if it makes more horsepower, it means it made more torque. So it's an obvious answer. So let's just get rid of that just so we can see a little bit better here the differences. So our light blue line is Sniper with a distributor. Our green line is Sniper with, is the multi-port, the HP multi-port with MSD ignition system. And our dark blue line, if you can see up here, our dark blue line is the coil on plug with multi-port injection. So interesting that it was the best out of all of them down here in the bottom. Had a little spot here, and this is some stuff that we've seen. It scales a little bit different here, just because it made a little higher through here, so it changes the look of it some. But it's interesting, it's all through here. And then I told you earlier about that little spot. We looked at it when it was on the other screen, when it was right here. It lays it out flatter, longer. So that's that dip you're seeing right there, and a little bit of rise. We go back, and then it actually falls off. Now these numbers here that they're off are that's 720, that's 734, 733. So it actually, falls off a good 10 horsepower. So I think what you probably would be finding through this area is those coil on plugs probably would want a couple more degrees of timing, or I could change the inductive delay on it to make it come up a little bit higher through here. So real interesting, but that is a direct comparison, just back to back. We could tune the coil on plug, obviously, to be probably even better, but I think you could see that I think it kind of proves out, at least in my mind, that I think that the ultimate way of doing this would be coil on plug, multi-port injection, because of all the tunability you would have and all the things that you could make happen there. But anyways, and I always am impressed at how good the Snipers are, just like right out of the box. I mean, in all reality, it was the peak horsepower on the Sniper was 733. The peak horsepower on the everything else best was only 738. So I mean, it is super close as it is. And before everybody, I always get this. I'll leave you with this one last comment. Because that Sniper works really good, this does not mean that you're going to bolt this on your pro modified car and make 3,000 horsepower. In fact, you're not going to make 2,000 horsepower with it. If there was the cheapest way possible to do something, and you could end up using, why would I not use the cheapest thing possible? Well, it's still the cheapest thing possible. That thing is really good, but it has its applications, it has its spot. And the super big horsepower stuff, where you need to be doing some cylinder tuning, where you need to look at things, is not the option for that. That thing is a great deal, and at 1,500 horsepower and below. Above that, you really need to do something different. So anyways, I'm Steve Morris, Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day.